It's Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher. And recently, I did a video regarding the reptilian consciousness, the consciousness that responds to status, shiny objects, greed, instant gratification, and how sometimes when people get a big prize but have not built the processes in their lives to sustain the lifestyle that goes with that big prize, how the consequences usually pain, suffering, and a bigger setback than before acquiring that quick and easy prize that seemed to come out of the blue. So today I have a similar type of story, and I'm going to go back many, many years ago to when I was 11 years old. I played basketball in a community center, and there's this center had basketball camps, and I went for a couple of years. And you could say my coach might have had a bit of a gambling problem. See, at the end of every practice, he would challenge us. Like one of the participants, one of the people who were in the camp who wanted to participate, would get to challenge him in a shoot-off, and we would be on the free throw line, and he would be at the three-point line. And if you could outshoot him, you would win a prize. And every shot that you made, he would raise the stakes. So the first shot might be $1, the second might be $3, the third $5, and so on and so on. Or my memory is a little shaky on the exact. I think he may even go like dollar for dollar. So anyway, I was up, and I was on a hot streak that day, and I believe he was matching dollar for dollar, and I'd gotten him up to $11. At that time, that was actually a lot of money for an 11-year-old kid. And this time in my life, one of my greatest loves was video games. And this is the time where home video game systems are not what they are now. And so if you went to an arcade, you would have a different quality of video game experience, better graphics and sound, and video games were about $1 to play. So $11, that's a lot of fucking video games in an arcade. And that was, for me, that was super exciting. So I got him up to $11, and his next prize that he dangled in front of me. Now, again, the coach always won these. He always ended up winning. Usually, he'd bait you on a hot streak and get you super confident, and then he never had any. He knew he was going to win, but he fucked up this time. See, the next prize that he got me, I think I made it further than anyone had in this particular game. So he dangled his car keys out in front of me. So he was offering me, an 11-year-old kid, his car. An 11-year-old kid who could not drive, who did not understand economics. So even though I couldn't drive, I didn't understand that maybe we could sell the car and I could have that much more video game money. But someone who was in the consciousness of a typical 11-year-old kid at that time, he dangled that car in front of me. And you know what I did? I said, I think I'm just going to take your $11. That's a lot of fucking video games. And he did not like that because he lost. This whole game for him, a lot of it was like just about the thrill of raising the stakes and winning. But that time I cashed out. I won. I had the awareness to realize, there's nothing I can do with that car. I care more about the video games. My addiction at that time. But it really worked against him. And point being, too, is just like when we're aware of what we enjoy and what we truly value. Now, video games by no means were a healthy enjoyment for me. I actually got into bad addiction problems with video games, but at that time in my life, it was just something I was very clear that I loved and I enjoyed. And the point of this, when we're clear on what we want to put our time and energy into, then when temptation for something that comes and it seems like it may be luring you in a quick and easy way, but it's not something you even fucking want, when you're clear, then you can take your winnings and move on. You take the money and run, as opposed to continuing to engage in this game that you could potentially lose big. Now, this particular time, he didn't ask anything of us. It was just a game he did at the end of practice. It wasn't full-on gambling where we had to give him our car or our wallets in exchange, though we did pay for the camp. But yeah, that's the point of this, is when you're clear on your values, and ideally you have values that are not addictive, that are not these values that feed this reptilian consciousness, that feed a consciousness that simply wants pleasure-seeking, status, stuff, that's driven very much by greed, by lust, sex. Not that, again, sex in a sense that it, overindulgence, not sex in connection and transcendence, but the addictive qualities. And when you get stuck in that addictive brain, then you are much easier to be controlled by forces that do not have your best interest in mind. And I believe, there's a Netflix show called Squid Game that is all about this. It's about people who have gotten into this dark trap in life from gambling and from risking it all and losing over and over again in the belief that they can win. And I'm actually going to do an analysis of this show because there's all kinds of interesting symbolism with what's going on right now in the world. But yeah, this is all about consciousness, knowing your values, self-awareness. The stronger you are, and the stronger the quality values that you hold in your heart, true quality values, values that lead to a stronger character, that lead to stronger connection with other human beings, stronger connection with God or spirit, stronger connection with nature, with the planet. When those are your values and your true values, and you're aware of them, and you have systems to connect with them, then the chances of you staying in your sovereignty is much higher. The chances of you being controlled by something out there that simply wants to harvest you, that wants to manipulate you, the chances of that infiltrating you and feeding off your energy like the parasite that it is, go way down. So, I hope this story give you some insight, some inspiration. I'm going to roll on, and I will see you on the other side. Be well, my friends.